Welcome to The Secret Witch Show, the podcast providing a safe and alchemical altar space of conversations which help powerful women escape a half-hearted, spiritless society and rediscover the freedom of living a wildly magical life. Every other week, we explore how to cast aside the wounds of shame, guilt, and fear connected with fully being yourself, so you can grant yourself permission to stop hiding, ground soulfully back into your body, illuminate your whole soul desires, tend your soul, rediscover and reclaim your powerful gifts, express your magic, and manifest your wildest alchemy. There's no better place to become who your heart longs to be. This is where we will guide you into liberation. I'm your host, Nicole Barton, and I'm so excited to dive in. Welcome, magical ones, to episode 87, The Secret Witch 101, How to Heal Your Secret Witch so you can stop hiding and living your destiny as a healer. Before we dive in today, I have a very fitting celebration to share with you all, which I'm super excited about. And that is that our podcast has now officially been made top 10% global podcasts. I have been celebrating this so widely, like it's getting the champagne out. This has been something on my vision board since 3-4 years ago when I started the show, and I talked to that a little bit in the beginning of this episode, but it just feels really fitting that we're celebrating and honouring that with this theme of coming back right to the very first episode of like Secret Witch 101. Because The Secret Witch, I think the first ever episode was like how to tell if you're a secret witch. And it'd be interesting to go re-listen to it actually, because I feel like The Secret Witch has become this like movement over this time. And it's just so beautiful to see how she's kind of snowballed from like hiding, aka me, hiding away, being like, okay, I want to just talk about The Secret Witch, to like documenting this full process and becoming this movement of like top 10% global podcasts. That's a lot of secret witches listening in. So thank you for being here with us. And yeah, it feels significant and synchronistic that we are no longer so secret. So I'm not going to speak too much more on that. What I would like to do though, if you are feeling the call to going a little bit deeper with your secret witch, and you just want to be gathered in community with other women, which feels like so important for healing our secret witch, and we'll talk about that more in the episode. But like, there is a whole community of us. There's a whole community listening into the show, making it that top 10% show, but also a whole community over in our Facebook group, the Secret Witch Society, which is essentially a sisterhood of women just like you and me. And I'm going to be diving into more about the Secret Witch and who she is in this show, so I think you'll probably enjoy that. But I just wanted to share, please do join us in our community. We'd love to have you with us. We'd love to hear what you enjoyed about the show as well. On The Secret Witch Show today, I explore the concept of the secret witch and how to embrace your destiny as a healer. I share the fears and doubts that women called to be healers often face, illuminating the signs of a calling to healing, including feeling lost in a chaotic life, being a sensitive empath, experiencing burnout, and going through some kind of messy portal. This episode provides insights and guidance for all secret witches who are ready to embrace their gifts and step into their role as healers. I dive into the journey of healing the secret witch within and becoming a fully expressed healer, including the need for self-healing, sisterhood, and the importance of embracing all aspects of ourselves, both light and dark, which are all contained within the witch. I explain the misconception of quick fixes in the healing industry and the importance of taking time to become a healer, as well as the layers of personal and ancestral wounds that need to be journeyed with, exploring how soul mapping and archetypal remedies can guide the process. Let's dive in. I'm super excited for today's episode because it is The Secret Witch 101, which feels so juicy, and my heart is full actually to think of how far we have journeyed with the Secret Witch show in the past almost 4 years. I don't even know how long it's been actually, but I think it's 4 years now. Or maybe it's 3. I have no idea. Where are we? It's coming up to 4 years soon, I feel. And yeah, just it feels like such a really gorgeous way to honour something that we are celebrating with the Secret Witch show, which I'll talk more to in a moment. But yes, the Secret Witch herself is such a powerful medicine, and I'm super, super excited to be sharing an episode all around her, which I haven't done for a little while. So let's dive in. How I have been recently at the moment, as of the time of recording this, I have been journeying with leading She-Wolf, and She-Wolf has been leading me into some deep honouring of soul, slowing down, realigning. She's coming with her big nose and her dreamy, wild desires, and there's lots being opened up and created, and it's very exciting. And big changes. Now, my inner little girl does not much love big changes. She learned when she was little that change was not good, so I've been tending my soul in that. And there's a lot of changes in the team. There's a lot of kind of expansion into the next kind of breadcrumb along the archetypal apothecary path, if you like. So I've been really holding myself through all of that, while simultaneously celebrating that we are now officially a top 10 global podcast. Wow. Like, when we think about where we have come in those years, like, it feels like a really beautiful honouring and celebration of the Secret Witch. So I'm loving that the listeners in Secret Witch community on Facebook voted for Secret Witch 101 as the episode. It feels like just perfectly honouring and timely. And considering the topic is about how to stop hiding and live our destiny as a healer, it feels just so magical that we're celebrating this kind of achievement at the same time, which also like feels just huge. Like, considering we're leading the Secret Witch movement, and even the liberated wild witch movement, if you like, and I would say that when I first started this podcast, I had no idea where it was going to lead, and so I just kind of opened to it. It was quite exciting, and had big intentions for it. And top 10 podcasts has been on my vision board since I began recording, so it feels like a mega achievement to be celebrating. But given Secret Witches often feel like we're in the minority, and there's this kind of sense of like us having to hide because there's this like dark secret that we've got, that we're this secret witch. The fact that this podcast is listened to by the top 10 global podcasts in the world, like, we're in the top 10%. We're not hiding anymore. We're becoming visible. And it's become this kind of snowballed movement of not so secret witches. So who is with me as we continue this wild ride? So yeah, deeply celebrating that. Feels magically synchronistically timed. And what I will say, for those of you who are, some of you may have been listening for a long time, some of you might just be joining us. And I remember when the first ever episode, I think it was something like how to know if you're a secret witch, or like something along those lines. And so I was thinking about who the secret witch is, to kind of talk a little bit to that, I guess, as we dive in, because I think one of the things that can come up, I mean, so many women will feel the deep resonance, I would say, to the secret witch. There's so many magical women who are like, yeah, that's me. Like, it's undeniable. And so there's this deep resonance, but sometimes there can also be this deep fear when we think of the witch. I know many women who have journeyed with me in the past have expressed this kind of deep resistance to the witch. And they've all kind of stepped through that and held themselves through that fear of the witch, and come to love her and know her as this kind of more loving, witch that she is. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But I also had a poll recently in our Secret Witch sisterhood. And I wanted to find out a bit more about that, about how people were feeling about her. And I was like, okay, so do you love her? Do you fear her? Do you have this love-hate relationship with the Secret Witch? And it was really interesting because everyone voted love, which I thought was really interesting. It's like this, we're bringing love to the witch. And that really is how it feels, is like bringing out the softer side of the witch. Because as much as we can get scared of her, you know, how she's been painted in society, we are her. And there's no running away from knowing when we are being called by her. But let's see, I'm going to talk a little bit more to who she is so you can know if she is you, if you are the Secret Witch. So who is the Secret Witch? So she has kind of evolved over the years, as I said, like when I can't even remember what I said in the first episode, but I suspect she's become a little bit more nuanced as we've journeyed through this podcast. There's a particular aspect of the witch that we now focus on, but her essence is ultimately still the same. She's ultimately a secret healer, if to sum it up in a nutshell. But what do we really mean by witch? Well, there are lots of different aspects of the witch, so I'm going to talk to those. But firstly, I want to talk to who the Secret Witch is not, because I think it's very important to make it clear who the Secret Witch isn't. Because the Secret Witch, or the witch in general, gets a bad rap. So I am not really talking about, when I say Secret Witch, I'm not really talking about the dark, ugly witch with warts that we know from fairy tales, where she's been kind of chased out the village. I'm not talking about rebelling against the patriarchy and all that sort of thing, although there may well be a sense of like feeling like we want to do that. I'm not talking about running away to the woods and joining a coven and casting black magic. It's not that kind of witch. The witch that I'm talking about when I refer to healing our Secret Witch is very much the white witch. She is the symbol of power, feminine power, more importantly, feminine soft power, you might have heard me talk about, magic and truth. And so ultimately, the Secret Witch is a woman who is really drawn to doing good in the world, particularly as a healer. And I'm talking about the healing witch specifically. So the healing witch who wields her power for healing. And as I mentioned, the witch kind of as a general archetype, because ultimately the Secret Witch is just another archetypal remedy, another lens for us to hold the mirror up and go, oh, there's an aspect of me that has been lost, shamed, pushed aside, hidden, which is what we're here to talk about, that is actually a part of me that I want to reclaim. And that's what these archetypal remedies in general do. So in essence, the witch herself is an archetypal remedy, and I'll talk more about archetypal remedies in a little while, but the witch has lots of different aspects, and these are like different parts of ourselves that often are really serving to begin to reclaim when we're in the work of becoming a healer. I'll talk more about that as well, but in essence, the witch has the creatrix part, the part that's really powerful at creating. She has this feminine part of her, which is really soft and tender. She's caring. She has this sorceress part, she has the earth keeper, the wild woman. She has the healer, the medicine woman, the magic, and all of these different things are aspects of her. But ultimately, the aspect that we are most interested in this path, in the archetypal apothecary path and the path of the Secret Witch, is the kind of white witch, healer or medicine woman aspect of the witch. So this is those of us that are maybe psychic mediums, herbalists, I was going to say Reiki master, but Reiki mistresses, the healers, the teachers, the guides of the world. Another word that I've seen recently that's come through, given the development of archetypal apothecary, is that also an aspect of the witch can be the apothecary. Now, we often see the apothecary as a place because we're kind of taught that in ancient times people would have gone to an apothecary and almost like a chemist and got some drugs and taken them away to heal. But when I look at the definition of an apothecary, I actually discovered that an apothecary is a person. So an apothecary is actually the person that kind of dispenses the medicine, the remedy. And so ultimately, the witch, there's a deep aspect of the witch that is an apothecary, that is a magical healer who is able to serve out medicine, to become medicine, to be medicine for others, to heal ourselves and to go and heal others. Hence the development of the archetypal apothecary, because what I saw with the archetypal apothecary, and I'm kind of coming to see it as like the secret witch's archetypal apothecary. But ultimately, the secret witch knows how to harness her inner apothecary of archetypal remedies for her own healing and healing of others. And archetypal remedies, I don't go into too much now, but in essence, they're like, as I said, kind of mirrors for us to go into deep self-inquiry, the deep kind of work to reclaim aspects of our soul that have become lost. And that's really, for me, and Kent, a famous homeopath as well, which homeopathy is one of the ancient wisdom bodies of this path, he talks about the importance of reclaiming our souls in healing. In essence, he's saying any kind of disturbance to our soul, anywhere that has been shamed or suppressed of our soul, is where we become ill or have some kind of disease created. So reclaiming our souls is the real art of and science of healing. And that's what the archetypal apothecary helps us do. And the secret witch knows how to harness that apothecary for her own self-healing. So that's probably just diving in a little bit deep there at the beginning of an episode, but I love deep. I have a brilliant mind. So if you're, if you do too, you're probably in the right place. But ultimately, I want to talk a little bit as well to how do you know if you are a secret witch? Now, this is important because I think it just grounds the context of, like, if you're even listening to the right episode, the right show. Because the secret witch, as we've illuminated, is a healer, but she's a woman who longs to be a healer. So there's a secret part, right? The witch is a healer. Who's the secret witch? The secret witch is a woman who longs to become a healer and yet has all the fear. She will feel that it's her destiny, but she's also kind of then held back by fears of losing approval, losing security, being a failure, losing control. So because of those fears, she stays hidden. She hides her gifts and stays secret. So if you're resonating with the secret witch, it's probably that you're really thinking something along the lines of, yes, I am a healer. I am a witch. I've got to do something with that. And also, you may be thinking, if I don't do something with that, I'm going to die. Like, I remember feeling that myself, because, of course, I have been a secret witch. And my secret witch still comes out and creates chaos for me at times as well. So don't put me on a pedestal. I'm still journeying with all of that. And I've healed so much by working with her as an archetypal remedy. And so maybe you're thinking, perhaps if I don't do something, so I'm going to die. You're realizing you have to do something with your gifts, and yet you know that you have to share them. The thought of kind of getting to the end of your life and not having done something with this gift, with this medicine, like, breaks your heart. You have to share it, and yet you're also feeling stuck as this secret witch. You're hiding. You're not living your destiny as a healer, and is having you all these fears and doubts that are natural, by the way, having you not step fully in because you have these doubts. So you secretly want to be a healer, you crave it, but when you begin to see that and be like, oh, maybe I am a secret witch, maybe I am this healer, maybe this could be a reality for me later down the line, maybe I could actually transition from this like busy professional career or being a mum or whatever it is that you're currently in that is starting to feel slightly mundane. You're like, okay, I'm a witch, I'm here for more than this. Like, when you start to see that, then all the fear comes in, and we want to hide, and we're not sure if it can happen, and it seems impossible, and it feels terrifying and overwhelming. And all of a sudden we find ourselves in fear of failure, fear of losing security, fear of losing approval. This is what has us stay secret witches, not fully expressed healer witches, as we are guiding you into, but secret witches. Bless our hearts. Our secret witch who wants to hide. And so when this happens, the secret witch typically goes into distraction mode, and it's like, fingers in ears, I'm not here for this, la 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 la, I can't hear what you're saying. I'm going to do all of this mundane stuff over here because I'm just not cut out for this. There's too much fear. And that tends to be where the woman who arrives at my door is. It tends to be where we are when we arrive at this path. It's where I've been in my own journey. And yet, the fact that my point of view is the fact that you are feeling this fear does not mean that you're not cut out for it. What it actually means is that you're a secret witch and you're being called that way, and the fear is a sign that you are a secret witch. And the reason that you've not got out there being a healer yet is because you have 3 fears: control, security, and approval, or rather losing those 3 things. So you fear obliterating your life as you know it. You fear losing control. You fear you might fail and lose security. You fear that you might be laughed at, rejected, outcast, typical witch wound. Those are all signs. If that is you and you have those 3 fears, and we might break those down in a little moment. But if that is you, this is really just a sign that you are a secret witch needing healing of your secret witch. And this whole show is for those who hide away as secret witches, aka the secret healers, the white witches, who secretly dabble in herbs or energy healing or mediumship, who are like fingers in ears, like la la la, no idea what you're talking about, what gifts. This is for you. This is for those secretly magical women who feel the fear of being all consumed, our lives being taken over, obliterated if we answer the call to our healing gifts. Those are the fears that have us worried that we'll run away to the wild and never come back and lose everything, lose our security. Fear number 1, losing security. The 3 fears of the secret witch. Fear number 2, these are the women who fear other people's judgment, rejection, loss of approval if we embrace our gifts. It makes us think, what if someone finds out? Oh my goodness, I need to stay this secret witch. Number 3, so that's second one is fear of approval, fear of losing approval. The 3rd secret witch fear is fear of failure, fear of losing control. That has us self-doubt, that has us not step in, that has us question, what? Me, a healer? Really? Can I really do that? Preferring to stay in control. Control being the 3rd fear of the secret witch. I'm hoping that you're feeling a sense of relief as you listen to this, like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense of a lot. So ultimately, those are 3 fears, and we could just briefly go through. And I often, in some of my workshops, I often invite women into a rating out of 10, like how far in each of these categories do they feel that this impacts them, or they're terrified of this. So if we start with security, like how far do you fear not being able to provide for yourself? How far do you fear not being able to, losing your home, your possessions, your lifestyle, thinking this vision's too big, how will I ever do this? How I need someone else to provide for me, feeling stuck in my mundane job, that's the security. Like, how far do you fear losing your security, obliterating your life, feeling like your life is going to change if you embrace these gifts? So rate that category out of 10, 0 being this doesn't impact me at all, 10 being I'm terrified of this. And then again, we'll go into approval. For the approval fear, how far do you think, what would my husband think? What would my family, friends, kids, mum, sister, brothers, best friend, people at my office, people at my workplace, what would they think of me stepping into being a healer? How far do you avoid asking for your needs to be met or using your voice to share what you really think? How far do you fear being judged as a charlatan or a witch? How far do you feel too sensitive or busy juggling everything else and not being able to put your needs first? These are signs that we have some healing to do around approval. So again, rate that category out of 10 as to how far it impacts your life, with 0 being it doesn't impact me at all, 10 being I'm terrified. Control fear. How far do you fear that living from soul will obliterate your life and you'll have to run away to the woods? How far do you feel overwhelmed, like you can't cope, fear trusting magic, fear trusting the unknown? How far do you mistrust that life has got your back? How far do you doubt that you even have magic and gifts, even though you're here listening to this? I mean, I don't know who would be listening to this if you didn't. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. How far do you kind of seek the next training so you can be more experienced? How far do you think I can't do this and doubt your power? These are signs of control fear. Again, rate this category out of 10. 0 being this doesn't impact me at all. 10 being I'm terrified of this. That's very just a brief exercise, but you can add up your score out of 30 and just notice how high your score is. And if it's on the higher side or the mid to higher side, then really, well, even, low mid as well, like just notice that all of these things are really just a call into deeper healing of your secret witch wounds. So we're talking about how to heal your secret witch so you can stop hiding and live your destiny as a healer. The first step is just getting really honest about these wounds. Like, we can only stop hiding if we see that we're hiding in the first place because of these fears. So it's really important to firstly illuminate. But I want to talk also to the 5 ways, the 5 signs that can show up when we're being called into healing our secret witch. Because when we start to feel these fears, it's really an initiation. It's an initiation into becoming a healer, into becoming a fully expressed healer. And so there are some ways that this call, this initiation will typically show up. So I'm going to describe as well some signs that you could be being called into healing. This tends to be, again, where the secret witch is when she arrives at this path. So the first one is that you will maybe have created some outer success, yet you're feeling lost in a drama-fueled, chaotic, mundane life that you just don't feel fits you anymore. It's like you've outgrown this mundane life. So maybe you're a professional of some kind, or perhaps a professional mama, and you're increasingly just feeling that deeper call to something wilder, something more magical, something more soul aligned, more meaningful, more impactful as a healer that is making a difference in the world. That's typically the first way it will show up. It can also show up, though, in other ways. So the second way it can show up is you might be resonating with being a sensitive, empathetic woman who feels more. You think of the witch's intuition, like her sixth sense, like she feels everything. So that also means that she can feel overwhelmed. There's this kind of general overwhelm that the secret witch will feel. So there's this sensitivity to noise, sensitivity to light, sense, touch, electricity, other people's energies, other worlds. And we can worry about how to become a healer when we are so sensitive. Like, how will we protect our energies? That's another way that she can be showing up. The third way is that she may feel burned out and exhausted. This is a common one for the witch. You think about the witch being burned at the stake. She will also kind of burn herself at the stake by burning herself out and exhausting herself by people pleasing, by rescuing. We've kind of been used to being the strong one, living life for others. Remember her feminine creatrix power. She's used that to kind of battle through life, this kind of power, misunderstanding the true feminine soft power and being the creatrix. So maybe battling through life in business, work, family, motherhood, ignoring our needs, and yet also feeling increasingly stressed, anxious, resentful. This is another sign. My own initiation, by the way, was through burnout. If you've not listened to any other episodes and this is the first one you're listening to, my initiation with the witch was really burning out, like several times in my life, to the point of not being able to walk. That can be how she calls us. Some kind of messy portal. She can, in fact, that's my next point. So point number 4, sign number 4 you're being called, is that there's probably been some kind of, or you've experienced in the past, some kind of initiation. And when I say it could be in the past, it could also be present. It could be very present for you still, but some kind of messy portal of some kind. particularly either physical health challenges, maybe a traumatic birth. That was also my initiation to the witch. My remembrance of the witch was through birth, through a very traumatic birth, through romantic relationship issues. Like there's some kind of messy portal that you've journeyed that's kind of awakened you to something more magical. So, oh, there's more than this. There's more than this physical health challenge, this traumatic birth. There's more than this romantic relationship that I'm currently in. And yet there's also simultaneously this temptation to numb ourselves with TV, with alcohol, with food, with social media, with drugs, with some other quick fix. So there's always that temptation to like dismiss our bodies, dismiss the truth of what's going on. And yet now you're likely probably feeling at a crossroads, at a threshold, being called into kind of a rebirth of yourself. So there's this sense of like wanting to learn to self-heal, wanting to become more inspirational medicine or remedy for others. The fifth way that I've seen become very, very clear, and I know from my own journey, I felt this deeply, but also many, many women who arrive at this path feel, is this sense of feeling alone and isolated. There's this sense of wanting community, of wanting sisterhood, where we can all kind of gather together, holding each other around that virtual fire, and being held, like this sense of like feeling alone, basically. And my heart feels you so deeply in that, like in all of it. There's almost like as well with that, there's a very nuanced element to that. It's like we want to be in sisterhood, and simultaneously we also want to run away and be on our own. There's like this fight going on between like intimacy and like, no, go away, leave me alone, because we're exhausted, right, not meeting our needs. And what I want you to know is, if you're resonating with that, if you're resonating with the whole thing, like the first step, again, we're here to talk about how to heal your secret witch. Like these are all secret witch wounds. The first thing that we need to do to stop hiding and begin to open to even living our destiny as a healer is to welcome these parts of us home. To get honest, to look at these wounds that we have, and to really allow ourselves to love those parts of us. Parts of us that maybe feel scary. You know, the witch can feel scary because she also represents the aspects of ourselves that we don't want to look at. And that's important to know, because on one side, she is dark. She has a darkness. She has these messy portals that we need to look at honestly and lovingly. But she also has this paradox of like being deeply feminine, deeply loving, deeply nurturing, which means she's also soft, tender. She's a carer. She's a healer. She's an apothecary. She's here to do good in the world. So the witch is both scary to look at because she represents these aspects of ourselves that we want to get truthful about, and that is the medicine. And she's also loving and nurturing. And she's here to help us learn to love and nurture ourselves. She's that mirror to reflect back these aspects of ourselves, including the nurturing, loving carer for ourselves. I would say the medicine, the fundamental universal law of healing is like cures like. And the witch is exactly doing that. Like she will come in as a mirror and be the exact remedy for the aspects of us that are wounded. I'm trying to find the best way to explain that, but ultimately we kind of need her darkness to reflect back to us where our healing is, like cures like. So often the medicine that we take doesn't always feel good. We expect medicine to make us feel better, to feel good, because that's how we used to operating with medicine and interacting with medicine in a mundane world. But ultimately, that's not how medicine works. That's not how real remedies, real healing, the universal healing laws work. Like cures like. So that which we fear, that which feels dark, will cure us. And so that's really what the witch is calling us into, to stop hiding and live our destiny as a healer, is joining together around the virtual fire to learn how to open to our healing gifts by learning how to love ourselves. So how do we do that? Well, research is an apothecary, right? And so my unique point of view, my unique healing modality, my path guides women who doubt their power, magic and wild expression, and helps them begin to heal their inner secret witch to become a fully expressed healing witch. That's the premise of what I do. I help women learn to heal themselves, learn the true art of self-healing, the true art and science of self-healing, to discover their gifts and to learn how to express them into the world. That's really the 3 steps of my journey. I'll talk more to that, but it's all created around this central idea that we each have a soul plan, a soul map, and particularly a map of archetypal remedies that we were born here to journey with in order to live our deeper, more meaningful purpose as a healer. So if you like, it's a map of our inner archetypal apothecary that we can learn how to heal ourselves with. So it's almost like we've got these archetypal remedies on the shelf, and we can take down the one that's most needed in this moment to heal this particular layer of ourselves, and we can work with that as an archetype for healing this aspect of ourselves. And it's like we each have our own unique map of the remedies that we're here to work with in order to liberate our secret witch and heal her and learn to express her gifts in the world. Because the answer to fully embracing our gifts and stopping hiding and how to live our destiny as a healer is in learning to heal ourselves. So we have been taught, here's the problem, that there is a quick fix, that we have to outsource our power to, that we have to go and find a healer to heal us. And this can be quite paradigm shifting if this isn't the way that you see the world, but ultimately nobody else can heal us. So you're like, well, how does that work when I'm here to learn how to be a healer? You're telling me now I can't be a healer because I can't heal others. What we can be is activating remedies for others. So we are a mirror ourselves for other people. What do we know about mirrors? Like cures like. So we are curing those who are like us, similar to us, because we are expressing our remedy into the world. So we witches become archetypal remedies for others. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but ultimately we have to learn how to heal ourselves. There's no outsourcing our healing. There's no learning the next tool. You know, like we're sold this story of like, go and learn Reiki in a day and then off you go, you're a healer. Now that isn't how it worked in ancient times. Like real life witches and medicine women did not just go and learn something logically and then go and heal people. There's like a real embodied experiential medicine that we need to learn how to become that healer in order to be activating for others. So there's no like learning the next tool. There's no like learning the next business tool or something that will sticky plaster over the journey of becoming a healer. The journey of becoming a healer is one of becoming, hence is becoming a healer. And so this is my take on it, which is grounded in a decade of healing and guiding other healers. My point of view is that if we want to become healers, teachers, or guides, and we want to live our more meaningful purpose, that involves a becoming. And fear, the 3 fears, are a natural part of that becoming. So many women come into the healing world because something has had a deep impact on their lives. They've been through that initiation, they've awakened, and they want to share this magic with others. But there's people, there's social ads, there's courses telling them that it's this quick and easy fix, that you can do it tomorrow. And so women, heartbreakingly, and I've done it myself, end up spending a ton of money, a ton of time, a ton of energy in these quick fix sticky plaster tools, both for healing and marketing, which offer us false promises. And this is a vulnerable truth to speak, because it's something that, you know, I could easily be doing myself and be like, okay, come here, be a healer. I'm going to show you how to do it in 3 easy steps. And like, we're going to do it in 5 minutes. And I would make a ton of money. And yet that is so out of alignment with me and my integrity. Like my medicine name is, you know, Apothecary of Ancient Healing Truth. Truth is deeply important to me. Integrity is deeply important to me. And I'm here to lead a movement in the world that lets women know that we can take our time becoming a healer. It is not authentic to rush. Rushing is grounded in the same quick fix mentality that the mundane world loves because it's easier and it fits into a box. It's more palatable, it's more appealing. And for that reason, my heart breaks because I see so many women go and train in their passions and then fall at the first hurdle of actualizing and expressing their gifts into the world. Because what I'm sharing here isn't taught. And at this point, women can become disenchanted at the lack of integrity in the healing world. And it breaks my heart because there's so much medicine, there's so much goodness for the witch to serve. And yet the reality is there's this kind of messy in-between period I talk about where we awaken to this gift and then we lean in and then we feel lost and we don't know how to become a healer. We hit up against these 3 fears. And that's the bit that I serve. That's what this whole show is about. And it's both a healing modality in its own right, the Archetypal Apothecary path, for those new to the path, and like a healing of healers modality that complements other modalities that women have already walked. So it's almost like a complementary therapy as well. Because without support, women can struggle to actualize our gifts into the real world with the abundance we desire, and unless we have a process. And so the reason I created this show, this path, and there's been deepening in clarity, like to get to this point from where we first started 3-4 years ago, like that has been, you've almost had like a documentation of the process. And this is based on this whole process, this whole journey that I've created for women is really all about the learnings of where I got stuck. And the truth of it is it takes time, it takes personal healing. But the gold of that, the beauty of that is that it also means we can step in tenderly, we can go at our soul's pace, and we can learn to heal ourselves first. When we allow ourselves permission to do that, we can become actualized healers within 3 years. And again, that's vulnerable to share because we want that quick fix, but I'm sharing it because I want to be the honest one in this industry. I know you've got the Facebook ads telling you can do this tomorrow. And that might be true, just to presence that as well. Like if we don't have the fears, if we've done the healing work, if we know what our remedy is, our medicine is, if we're savvy about marketing, if we've like got a really clear niche, if we've healed all the parts of ourselves that are, wanting to be seen and visible, then maybe we can leave it in pretty quickly. If we don't, then we likely won't. So my point of view is there's still healing to do when we're at this point, just new layers of healing. And I'll talk about layers in a moment, but in the path that I lead women into, which is the path of healing the secret witch, is I've talked about there's these 3 layers: healing our own soul, discovering and embodying our gifts, and learning to express the gifts into the world, healing the ancestral witch wound. And if we don't navigate this with a process like this, we will just continue with these quick fix marketing and healing tactics. We'll stay secret witches. It's not going to work. We'll have spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and still be struggling to make money from our gifts and still not actualizing our medicine. Still not sharing our gifts, still hiding as a secret witch. And that's absolutely okay for us to choose as long as we're choosing that consciously. However, if we do navigate it with a process like this and we work through these 3 levels, whether that's with me or with someone else, like it's just the levels are the levels, regardless of where you go. If we allow our secret witch to learn to heal herself and learn how to discover her gifts and learn how to express them and heal all the wounds in the way of us expressing them, then that can take just 3 years. And I say just, even though that sounds like a lot of time, because it took me 10 years and a lot of time, energy, and investment. A lot of quick fixes that I got very frustrated with, a lot of trying to fix myself and feeling broken. The reality is we're not broken. And it cost me, I totaled it up, it cost me over £95,000 to get where I am and gain all the wisdom that I've gained because I didn't have this path. And so that's why I've created this path. That's why I've tested it with other women. That's why I've brought it into the world so that you can become an embodied, confident healer in 3 years and at much, much less investment. but with the investment of all the wisdom that I've gathered along the way to help you, not into my path, but into your own wisdom. That's ultimately what we're doing. And so those 3 steps, healing, discovery, and expression, if you like, are the way. It's a path that serves any woman in her journey, wherever she is, whether you're completely new to healing, just stepping into the path of soul, whether you're a woman who's already trained in other modalities. This is complementary. It works in conjunction. We don't need to give up everything we've already studied. Those tools still have a value in that they're likely to have been something that has helped you begin healing and has taken you on a journey. And so it's a yes and. It's like, yes, and what's now? What's now is healing the secret witch, healing the healer, so that we can stop hiding and live our destiny as a healer. And likewise, we can start walking wherever we are in life. We can start tenderly taking the first steps without having to obliterate our lives and go and hide out in the middle of the woods. We can just start walking where we are, following the next breadcrumb, going gently. I've intentionally created our path to be accessible, to have loads of free resources. There's a podcast of over 80 episodes. Like there's and that really is documenting the journey. There's, our starter pack. There's our Secret Witch Sisterhood. There's our group journeys. There's our soul readings. If you want to go a little bit more deeply and be a little bit more held, there's one-to-one work. If you want to go even deeper, like there's lots of different levels to take those tender first steps to becoming a healer, teacher, or guide from alignment. And it's all here for your choosing, for your play, for your creation, your witchy creation. And I acknowledge your fears, and they want some love. And that's the first step, like to stop hiding, to heal our secret witch. The first step is to acknowledge our fears and to love ourselves in them. It is totally possible to heal our secret witch and become a healer. It starts with opening and learning to tend our fear. And it starts with that soul map. Like it helps to know, like this journey overall provides like a soul map to help us know which archetypal remedies to work with. So the whole premise is built around this idea that we're a secret witch and we can learn to work with our inner archetypal apothecary for healing. And these healer wounds are kind of at the tip of the iceberg. If you imagine us like an onion, there's different layers of wounds. So in the soul map that we do, I identify 4 different layers of remedies. There's lots of different remedies within each layer, but in essence, like there's our who we were born as, right at the center of the onion. And then there's like different layers of wounding, either our core wound, which is typically our gift or our niche. And then there's like surface layer wounds, and then there's also ancestral wounds. And these are the wounds that we learn to heal in this path, and they're the wounds that we need to learn to heal so that we can stop hiding and live our destiny as a healer and heal our secret witch. And we're kind of like that onion. So the kind of right at our core of the onion was this like bubbly, effervescent, gorgeous, magical, witchy little girl we were born as. And then over the years, because the healer typically goes through these initiations through life, they tend to have more wounding than most people. So over the years, we'll have naturally experienced layer after layer after layer of wounding. And we will naturally, that true essence of our little girl and her magical healer has naturally become clouded by these different remedy states, these different layers of wounding, another layer, another remedy state, another layer, another layer, another layer, both personal and healer wounds. And our work as secret witches is to learn to heal these wounds. In short, just peel back these layers until we get to who we were born as, until we get to be able to express our healer by loving them home. The way to living our destiny as a healer is to illuminate these layers and heal them by loving these parts of ourselves that have been lost through wounding home. Healing our personal wounds, because as I said, like cures like. If like cures like, it means we are a remedy for others based on what we've healed for ourselves. As we go through and heal what's there for us to heal, this becomes inspiring, activating, magnetic for other women, because they're like, oh, hang on a minute, this woman over here was once feeling like this, and now she's feeling like this. And they see in that a whole journey for them of what's possible for them. Like cures like. Much in the same way, the secret witch is like cures like. I am expressing the fully expressed witch, and that's making that a possibility for you, because you're seeing, like, I've come from the wounds of the secret witch and I've become a fully expressed healer. Like cures like. I'm medicine for you. You have your own unique version of that, and you are here to discover it and live it and heal all the wounds in the way of you becoming it. So it's healing our personal wounds, because our own wounds become medicine for others. Our healed scars becomes medicine. And also healing our secret witch wounds, the witch wound, if you like, the witch wound of being scared of being our fully expressed witch. So there's just more healing to do so that we can stop hiding and live our destiny. Ultimately, it's just how to heal your secret witch so you can stop hiding is opening to loving her. That feels like a gorgeous place to leave it. I guess if you're kind of wondering, well, where do I begin with that? Because I think there's obviously so much in this topic that it's very difficult to speak to it all in one episode. Like, this is a 3-year path. And so it's very hard to say in one episode, okay, this is the step to heal the secret witch. So you probably come here listening to this episode and it's just occurred to me, you're like, oh, where's the quick fix? How do I stop hiding? Give me the quick fix. And I've just given you a whole map of like how to go on the journey. Like, come get in my boat and I'll take you there. And you're like, okay, cool. I just wanted plaster. So yeah, sorry if that's disappointing, but it may well also feel relieving, I suspect. Yeah, firstly, feel the relief in knowing that you are not alone. You're not a unicorn, you're a witch, secret one, and that is welcome. That part of you is welcome. That feels healing. And the other thing in knowing that you're not alone is, if you're thinking, well, okay, what's my next step? Join our Secret Witch Sisterhood on Facebook, in Facebook groups. So once a month, we hang out together and gather around the virtual fire in our Manifesting with the Moon event. So come join the party if you're wanting that next step. I'd recommend actually booking tickets, because at the moment we're not doing it through the Facebook group. We have to have a Zoom, but it is for our Secret Witch Sisterhood. So come join us. Don't do this alone. You don't have to be a secret witch. And often, in fact, many times, joining the sisterhood is so liberating for this part of you that wants to hide. It's so beautiful to see there's a community, there's a whole community of women, top 10% listens globally. Like, there's a whole community of women gathered who are just like you. So although you feel secret in your mundane life and you're a little bit woo and witchy in your mundane life compared to others, there is a whole group of us. So come gather. We also have a whole host of other episodes of The Secret Witch Show, which is like, somebody described it as like a treasure trove of like magic and beauty, which I loved. So do listen to all of those. There's lots of guests and there's lots of solo episodes from me. There's also an amazing starter pack, Archetypal Apothecary starter pack, the Secret Witch starter pack, which you can download and begin to work through some self-illumination in the workbook. So that's available at nicolebottom.co.uk/subscribe. I'll put all of this in the show notes. And if you are wanting more hand-holding, then there are other ways that you can do that. We often have 4 group journeys a year. At the moment, there may be other ways coming in to walk the path, so watch this space. But at the moment, there's kind of an accessible group journey, and then there's also options to go deeper into your soul map with soul readings, archetypal soul readings. So there may well be some spaces open for that soon. They are quite limited because I work with women one-to-one as well. So I do really honour my time and their time. So they are quite limited spots that come available. If that's something that you are feeling called to, you can check those out on the Archetypal Soul Reading page. So I'll put that in the show notes as well. But ultimately, there's like a treasure trove of all the ways to begin healing your secret witch. The first step is really to acknowledge this part of you and love her. Allow her to be a secret witch even. Be like, okay, cool. I see you, secret witch. And I love you. That feels so nourishing. Like, even just owning that aspect of you and allowing her to be there is healing. Do not underestimate the power of an archetype. This medicine, these remedies, archetypal remedies, they work in such different ways to the way we expect in the world. So just see what's unraveled as well. See what's revealed as your next steps. I'm going to leave it there. And I hope you have loved the episode. If you want to, if you did love it, please do. Actually, I'm going to invite you to share a 5-star review if you have enjoyed listening to this episode. I would love to have more reviews. We've got quite a few already, but it's just never something I've ever asked for. And then I was like, oh, a top 10%. I'm going to be embrace this. I don't think I'm going to stop celebrating it, to be honest. So if you've loved the show, please do leave us a review. I would love that. I would also love to hear what you enjoyed about it, if it feels aligned to share more words. So you can review us wherever you listen. We're on all the major podcasting platforms. And yeah, I will see you soon. Lots of love. Oh, I loved revisiting The Secret Witch today. Here are my takeaways. The Secret Witch is a woman who longs to become a healer, but feels held back by 3 common fears of losing control, fearing failure, security, and approval, which have her hide her gifts. Signs that indicate a call to becoming a healer and being a secret witch include feeling lost in a chaotic life, being a sensitive empath, experiencing burnout, and going through some kind of messy portal. Embracing the role of a healer requires us to learn how to authentically face and heal our secret witch healer fears so we can fully step into our deeper gifts and purpose. The journey of healing the secret witch within and becoming a fully expressed healer takes time and personal healing, which is not often something that's taught. The true art and science of self-healing involves embracing all aspects of ourselves, including the light and the dark. The secret witch is really a call to deeper love. Quick fixes and outsourcing our healing to others are not as effective in the long run. Healing personal wounds and ancestral wounds are essential in the process of becoming a healer, and having a soul map for that and our archetypal remedies can guide the healing journey and help secret witches discover and express our gifts more easily. If you'd like to get the show notes and links for everything we've chatted about in this episode, head to www.secretwitch.co.uk. If you know a secret witch who would love this episode, please share with them to help them liberate themselves. And so you don't miss out on next week's episode, head to your podcast app of choice and hit subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time.